lyrics are too similar to the lyrics the TLW song Play is Gonna Play. Do you think this is legit? 85% of women and 76% of men agree. This is just a total money grab. And Khloe Kardashian, she can't catch a break when responding to negative comments saying she's getting fat and hiding it with baggy clothes. She says she was just trying to dress comfortable. Are haters taking it too far? The short answer, yes. 79% of women and 58% of men agree with that. The remainder feel that she should have known better. Answer all of life's opinion-based questions with just one swipe. Download Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. In the App Store, it's free and 100% anonymous.
Sports 1280, New Orleans, instant replay. Josh Innes, afternoons noon until 2.
They did everything they could to get him a head job. He said, Coach, I'm coming to LSU unless I get a head job.
Okay, as far as the mic, be about this far away from the mic.
Why are you being so perverse? Like this, I'm not even attempting to be perverse here, and this is the direction you're taking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a good setup.
I'm assuming they did everything they could to get him a head job, but he was honest with us. He said, Coach, I'm coming to LSU unless I get a head job, and I want a head job. Stop laughing.
I'm just happy that we got Coach.
Oh, your volume's
okay? Then we hear
okay?
about Florida Atlantic, and we didn't think he'd take that.
Which one is it?
But he calls and says, hey, man, I'm coming. I've got one more meeting, and I'm just going to listen to them.
You?
Ended up, he took the job.
What kind of job?
Yeah, that one.
He said he was going to take the LSU job unless he gets a head job, and he wanted a head job.
I mean, that's what we all strive for.
I was thinking about that when I was getting my massage in Las Vegas, actually.
Listen live weekdays on Sports 1280 and the free iHeartRadio.
And Dave, we're all good with sound and everything.
Sports1280.com.
Tonight, the wait is over. America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice is back.
Oh, you're fine. Dave, no, he didn't respond to me.
And Riley. Plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winning vocal powerhouse, Jennifer Hudson.
All I gotta say is glory.
That's an interesting first comment.
Oh man, we got no chance.
What does it say?
The Voice blind
As a
audition
veteran, this in no way, shape, or form affects my being a Saints fan. They have a right to
small
protest.
business owner,
There's nothing
you're
wrong
juggling
with
it all,
using your platform.
including customers' calls
that's
on your
Herbie's
personal phone.
big thing.
But with
Herbie
Grasshopper,
is
you
on
get a
that same
business phone
page,
number
too.
and a business phone system from our mobile app, so you can work smarter, not harder. Grasshopper forwards calls, texts, even transcribes voicemails. Everything you need to simplify your
Darren
business
Sproles
and stay responsive.
tore his
With
ACL
Grasshopper,
and
there's
broke
no
his arm
long-term
in the same
contracts,
play.
and customer support is 24/7. Whether you're starting or growing your business, Grasshopper is the answer. Now get $20 off your first month when you visit grasshopper.com/radio.
One Hit Wonder Radio on iHeartRadio.
It's fantastic.
Bask in the failed hopes and dreams of yesterday's hitmakers. An entire radio station dedicated to your guilty pleasure. Come on, you know you're itching to line dance right now. Go ahead, we won't tell. Celebrate One Hit Wonders Day on iHeartRadio. Open the iHeartRadio app and start reminiscing now.
For over 80 years, in the heart of Mid-City, where it's always been, is a New Orleans tradition, Mandina's Restaurant. Come in for some New Orleans staples, old-style New Orleans food, atmosphere, and some of the best seafood in the city.
Always New Orleans. 20 seconds.
All right, you got all that audio ready to go?
Yes.
All right, we won't play it in the first segment, but we'll get to it.
You got ba-ba-doo-ba-da-ba-doo-ba. Any guests?
No.
No, all right. So the whole show's just callers and audio?
Yes.
All right, starting now.
Okay. Dunc and Holder on a Monday, September 25th. And I would certainly say that this is an interesting Monday morning quarterback session as Jeff Duncan is gone. He's off to London, and we have our own Jim Derry sitting here in studio once again, ready to rock and roll here.
Is there anything going on today?
I think there's a little bit going on. Look.
Are we going to have anything to talk about for the next 2 hours?
The Saints won.
They did. Well, we could talk about that.
LSU won.
They did. We could talk about that.
Tulane won. In a thrilling fashion.
Yeah.
But we cannot avoid the elephant in the room, literally with what you referred to when you called me this morning on the way in to the studio here.
Yeah, I think I picked an interesting week to come sit in for Mr. Duncan, who's just jetting off to London, getting around all of this controversial stuff. And,
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do here is be as civil as humanly possible today. I don't think we're going to change the world, Jim Derry, but we're going to talk about the Saints win. We're going to talk about the Saints protests from both sides, because obviously some players see it one way. Sean Payton certainly sees it one way. Drew Brees sees it in a little different light. And I am going to open up the phone lines and let the conversation go. 504-260-1280.
Be nice, guys. Be nice.
Absolutely. And so what we're going to do here is ask you, how much does this affect your fandom? The protests. What the players did, what some reacted, with the way Sean Payton reacted, the way the Saints reacted as a whole, as an organization. And it's something to where I'm sure we're going to get some different answers all across the spectrum.
Well, I mean, we live in the melting pot of a melting pot. So, of course, we're going to get a bunch of different answers. And again, this coming from anyone who knows me, they'll find this funny when I say this, but we need to be civil on this subject because it is a very controversial subject, obviously. And, I mean, there are two sides, maybe six sides to this story that we're going to have to filter through and discuss.
Yeah, we'll do that. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. But let's just start right now with the win. The Saints picked up a big win. I didn't think they'd go up there and stomp the Panthers.
No.
But I thought it would be a close game. I didn't think the Saints would pull it off. But, boy, they look like a team we haven't seen in the last 2 weeks or even maybe the last couple of years.
Well, I mean, I will say going into my picks column last week that, I have not been the biggest Saints supporter, I guess, over the last couple years because of what's going on. And we saw what happened the first 2 weeks. But last week, I really did think it would be I thought yesterday would be a close game.
New Orleans.
But I did not, like you said, and I thought they may even have a chance to win the game. But in no way, shape, or form did I expect them to go in and play like the 2009 Saints.
No, and they did it offensively. They did it defensively. It all came together. Let me put out the disclaimer, though. Do we really know how good Carolina was going into that game?
And we don't know how hurt Cam Newton was either. We'll get into that, but I mean, it doesn't take anything away from what the team did yesterday because they still had to catch him. It's his shoulder that's his problem, not his legs. So they were able to stifle him. They had him frustrated all day long. Cam Jordan did an absolutely fantastic job yesterday, and I thought Kikaha played real well, and the linebackers, for the most part, did a decent job. And just really the defense, if I had to give them a grade, I think they played probably as well as they could probably play yesterday.
Well, if you get 4 sacks and 3 takeaways, that's pretty darn good. Yeah, I mean, usually that could beat any team in the NFL.
And they looked like a team yesterday that could beat any team in the NFL.
Right, exactly. So it's a good win. And honestly, in my column, that's what I tried to focus on because I know we had blanket coverage of the protests. Of course, 10 players sat. Others stood next to their teammates. But I think overall we counted 14 players that helped participate in the protests, of course, of Donald Trump's statements basically calling the NFL players a bunch of SOBs and because of their ability to protest, and obviously that took off like wildfire. We expected it to take off like wildfire. I didn't know, though, that the Saints would be so much involved in this, and you had people like Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram, Kenny Vaccaro, Cam Jordan. Those guys, look, these are named guys. and they took part in this. And Sean Payton, I couldn't believe how much he came after Donald Trump after the game.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone could imagine, A, before yesterday started, how big the whole thing would take off, but B, how united the entire NFL front would be. I mean, you haven't heard I haven't heard one word from anyone saying that they weren't doing the right thing or they weren't together. And they, I heard Tony Dungy say last night before the primetime game that he said that he thinks this is the most united that
New Orleans,
the most united that the league has been, players and owners and everyone since the 1982 strike. So, I mean, that's saying something for a guy who's been involved in the NFL since then.
Absolutely, but from the fans' perspective, I have seen extremes on both sides where people were so proud of it and some people were just done. I'll just put it in perspective, and we're going to go to the phone lines here in a second. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. But you have a guy who emailed me. I'll just say he's the son of a Saints Hall of Famer. I'll just put it to you that way. And he says just three words in the email was done with the NFL. So he's done with it. Now there are other people who are supporting it, and people were waiting for the Saints to put out a statement yesterday. Originally they weren't going to, then they did.
They kind of had to.
Yeah, and their statement I'd say was probably one of the better statements I probably saw in the NFL. They at least said, look, that they mentioned the president in the comments, because there are some who just glossed over president's comments and didn't say
that's
anything.
the reason why we're here.
Right, exactly. So, and he, of course,
whether you agree with him or not, that's the reason why we're talking about this
right.
today.
There's no question about that. So, you know what? Let's hit the phone lines. Let's dive in. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Frank in New Orleans. Frank, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, Frank?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Enjoy your show. I'm not a veteran, but this whole thing, I think, is getting out of hand. I think really, from a media standpoint, it's time to just don't pay attention to it no more. My feeling is, if this country's so bad and you want to protest, well, go to Canada and see how much money you can earn in Canada. But I'm not ready to write the NFL off or anything like that. I'm been watching football since the late '60s with my dad, and and if you want to sit, that's fine. But I think by the media covering it so much and giving it so much attention, it's just it's adding to it. If that makes any sense. And I'll hang up and see what you guys think.
All right, Frank. Appreciate the phone call. As far as let's not.
What choice do we have?
I'm not going to say we're not going to cover it. I mean, blaming the media. I mean, we're not the ones protesting. We're covering the protests. Yeah. I mean, we're not saying, oh, the players should protest. No, we're covering the protest. This is the first time the Saints have ever really done anything like this. Now, remember last year they locked arms, went to the center of the field, and Sean Payton kind of even alluded to that. He said, look, maybe if it was a home game, we could have maybe done something coordinated, but that didn't happen. He didn't want to rush it, and of course this thing elevated quickly. But with Trump's comments coming, Friday? So this thing kind of elevated quickly. But look, I'm just going to put my stance out there. It's not some strong stance. My stance is, because I was asked about it on Twitter, I'm just going to say it. Would I personally take a knee and use that form of a protest or sit or something? Me personally, no, I would not. Do I think that the players are they free to be able to do that form of protest? Yes. And no one in the NFL is going to fire you. No, now people can all argue the Colin Kaepernick thing and that he's not got a job. Well, I think maybe that might change.
Yeah, I think
after
he's
all
a winner
this.
out of all this.
Yeah, but do I have a personal major problem with them using a silent form of protest? No. Would I use that kind of protest? No. But I don't have some overwhelmingly I hate the NFL. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. I'd rather them do that than light the flag on fire. I mean, let's be honest. So, but I do get where other people are coming from. So I'm not someone who is blanket, boy, if you don't see it my way, you're wrong. I'm not that. I understand where people are coming from. But I'm not, I don't have this crazy, staunch, extreme stance on this thing that a lot of other people do, but I understand why other people do. I do.
Well, here's the problem. I mean, we as journalists, we're supposed to be talking about sports and football, and, well, as sports journalists anyway. And so I would love for us to be able to talk about football, and I would love to be able to keep my personal opinion out of this, but I don't know that through the course of a 2-hour show, when we're talking about these things, I don't know that it's possible that we can keep our entire. We don't have to expand on everything, but we
Jim,
have to talk about
this is a talk show, and talk shows are opinions.
Right,
that's kind of what it is. And I'm a columnist, so that's how you live life.
I am to some degree as well, but
you are to some degree.
So I guess if I have to throw my personal opinion out there, I almost 100%, I'd say 99% agree with you. That first of all, I see both sides as well. I actually, if it's possible to agree with both sides, I do agree with both sides. I think the president took it a little bit too far. You don't call players SOBs. That's he right there. He fired him up. Okay?
Right, by design.
And he does what he does. Right. And B, you can't. You're the president of the United States, and you're asking owners or saying owners should fire a player for expressing his opinion, which is a God-given right if you're an American citizen.
Melvin,
so I mean, it's a catch-22. I agree with both sides in this case. Just maybe not. We need to back off a little bit, I think.
Hey, let's hit one more phone call, and then we'll take a quick break. Melvin in New Orleans. Melvin, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, Melvin?
Thanks for having me.
Sure.
I would like to give you a little different perspective.
Please.
In that
I love all the perspectives, honestly. That's kind of what we're here to do today.
You can hear me?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I lived through a lot of what those guys were protesting. I understand what they're saying, but to me, I don't think you should do that. Let me tell you this.
Do what? You don't think they should do what?
I was in the military.
Wait. Hold up, Melvin. Hold up. Melvin, let's calm. Hey, I just do what? Like kneel? Is that what you're saying? I just want to see what you do. What? Protest or kneel or what?
Okay, I'm explaining. I was heading back to the United States. We stopped in a line to pick up a newspaper, and what do I see? In New Orleans, it was the NFL at that time. Come to New Orleans to play the All-Star game. Some taxi cab drivers in New Orleans wouldn't pick up black people. Some nightclubs on Bourbon Street wouldn't allow black people in. So what the AFL said is to New Orleans is when you disrespect some of us, you disrespect all of us. And they took their game and brought it to Houston. What I'm saying is I've lived through what they're talking about.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. As a kid, I was being told to go back to Africa. As though I'm not an American citizen, that I come from Africa. No, I'm an American citizen. And a veteran, and this is my country. No, I wouldn't do that, because I understand that when you do that, you only giving in to the haters. That's how they want you to feel, as though this is not your country. But it is your country, and you shouldn't do it because it is your country. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Hey, Melvin, appreciate your call and your candor. Appreciate it. Let's take a quick break right here on the show, and then when we get back, we got some more callers. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. I promise you we will talk about the game. I promise you. Obviously, this is a hot-button topic.
God, I hope so.
Yes, but look, we'll hear from Sean Payton on the game, but we're going to hear from Sean Payton and Drew Brees and Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson on this subject, but we will hear from them on the game, and it was a good one. I mean, 34-13. one of the better Saints performances I've seen in quite a while. Obviously this year, but
I think in 4 years.
And then you go to London on a high note, and guess what? The Dolphins stunk and they lost to the Jets. The Saints have a very good shot leaving London 2-2. Which, if you would have said that going into the season, leave the first 4 games 2-2, you'd be good with that. I bet you. So,
no question.
But yeah, we'll continue the conversation. Do you think the protests affect your fandom? Are you shutting out the NFL? Are you shutting out the Saints? Because this is the first real major one that they've done. I don't know if they're going to do any more in the future, but certainly the first significant one that they've done. And I want to hear from both sides. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here on Sports 1280. NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. We're Dunc, Derry, and Holder today.
It's all good from Diego to the Bay. Your city is the bomb if your city making pay. It's another September for New Orleans.
First. that it is.
Chris Gordy, mornings 8 to 10.
We all
if it's a 6-10, 5-11.
They was saying it in.
All right, so I texted Jim the rest of the names.
Yeah, he wrote them down. Who was it? Cajun Goat in Avondale and Tom in Dallas.
That is correct.
All right. Yeah, for some reason we were getting a massively bad echo, and it went away all of a sudden.
Okay, yeah. Well, see, they had you in utility, and so basically you were hearing yourself. And when I pushed that button to take it out, so you're good now.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, and I couldn't even. It was hard to even
me and Jeff. I know we were like pausing and.
I know. Well, see, the thing was we had it set up because Gordy was supposed to be coming in town today, and his producer was supposed to be in whatchamadinkey in Houston, and so the board was set up differently.
Tension issues.
All right, we're all good.
The first hour, Chris Gordy couldn't even hear the callers because for some reason they took the callers offline. We had Amos Morale come on, and the first 3 attempts were all failures because he couldn't hear Chris.
It's best service.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a hoot.
Party.
504-525-4550.
All right, here's what I think we're going to do. We'll take these 2 callers, and then I'm going to play the protest stuff, audio.
Music Festival
are sold out.
Wait, come again? I'm sorry.
I said we're going to take the callers, and then I'm going to play the protest audio as we go.
Okay, yeah.
Celebrated with iHeartRadio fans from around the world.
Yeah, I got Adrian, Ingram, Breeze, and Peyton stuff.
Cool.
And then Breeze. The Breeze post stuff was really quiet and had a lot of static, so I put it through a noise reduction thing, and it kind of distorts Breeze a little bit, but I mean it's better than that fuzzy loud noise in the background.
Yeah, that one was because the Saints didn't put that part of his audio on their website, so that was from like something we shot, and of course our quality.
Yeah, so I cleaned it up a bit, but I mean like I think it was like the second cut was kind of just like towards the end it was like
right. So, but the Trump
visit
question
Vistaprint.com and use promo code 58.
Yeah.
Print.com, promo code 5858.
Yeah, and I got Manti Te'o and Rankins.
Okay. Cool.
And the 3 cuts from Peyton.
Cool. You're the man.
All right, 20 seconds.
CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stay in Alert / Hands Only CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back, Dunc and Holder, with Jim Derry filling in for Jeff Duncan as Jeff is off to London. He will certainly be checking in throughout the week as the Saints will be preparing to take on the Dolphins. But, look, question of the day. I mean, look, we know the Saints won the game, and there will be more time to talk about football, I'm sure, and we will try to do our best to fit it in here. But, look, let's get the elephant in the room. We got to talk about it.
We might have to talk about football tomorrow.
I know. We might have to wait. Yeah, look, LSU, look, they got problems. Who knows what's going to happen when they actually play an LCC opponent again? They got problems. Yeah. Tulane, a great win against Army. Todd Grappanini, his call was, of course, tremendous as always here on Sports 1280 for the game. But, look, we're talking about because it's a topic that everyone is talking about. They don't want to talk about it, but somebody's talking about it.
No, I think they want to talk about it. Maybe we don't want to talk about it.
Maybe so, because we're just going to be.
They want to talk about it.
Yeah, we're just going to be kind of the moderators.
Judging by my Facebook and Twitter feeds, they want to talk about
on
it.
both sides of the coin. So we want to talk about if the way the Saints protested Donald Trump's comments at yesterday's game, if that affects your fandom. Are you going to stay a fan? Are you going to turn off the NFL? And it's I'll be interesting to see. Let's go to Cajun Goat in Avondale. Cajun Goat. Thanks for calling Duncan Holder. Are you eating a tin can or what?
First off, goat, is that a goat as in like you're eating grass, or are you the greatest Cajun of all time? Which one is it?
I'm both. I can eat grass and cook it. Like
there you go, man.
So, yeah, I'm doubled up on that, brother.
There we go.
Double goat.
All right, what you got?
What's up, brother?
Man, my opinion on all this stuff, to be honest, is I really don't pay attention to it because
Good for you.
I think a lot of it is totally just promoting themselves. I guess that's the part I can't get over. When these guys sit down or they kneel down before this weekend, what Trump said was totally wrong. I mean, he has no reason to talk about other businesses when he's supposed to be a president trying to get business. Right. So you don't tell somebody how to run their business, number one.
Yep.
And
do you think he would appreciate it if people told him how to run his businesses? I mean, geez.
They self-promote themselves. So I don't know how real it is. Just like the Kaepernick thing, when he started, I think he was mad at his coach more than it was about the issue. Because if it was about the issue, you would have went out in the communities and started doing things. Why would you put yourself out there like that? Oh, well, I'm going to kneel because I don't believe in my country. That just don't make any sense to me.
Well,
so all of it to me is bull crap. It's not going to make me stop watching football. And for people to get racist over it,
right?
It's ridiculous.
It's
you're feeding into exactly what everybody wants.
It's the same thing as when some celebrity comes out and is ticked off at some politician, or whether it be the president or whomever, or loves some politician. I mean, why should we care what they think about the political world? I guess.
But also, look, hey, Cajun Goat, appreciate the phone call, but also,
I think he's.
Yeah, but also, if they have, I don't think all of them are doing this just for show. I mean, let's be honest. Maybe could I don't know what everyone's thinking, but I don't think everyone's doing this for show. I don't totally buy into that logic.
I think they're genuinely upset about where we are in this country, but I think some of their concerns go a little to the extreme, and I think I don't think they can see the whole picture. I think it's what we talked about before. I can see both sides, and I actually agree with both sides, but to a certain extent.
Right.
You know, and they're taking this a little far, in my opinion.
Reggie Dallas.
504-260-1280 is the number to get involved in the show. Tom in Dallas. Tom, thanks for calling Duncan Holder. What you got?
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm from New Orleans, so of course love the great victory. I'm almost 60, so I've lived through the bad times, so it's nice having an occasional great win. What they don't understand is the Constitution guarantees the right to free speech, period. So these gentlemen have a right to protest. As long as it's peaceful, I'm completely for it. What Trump doesn't understand, because I don't think he's ever read the Constitution, I don't think he understands America, you have a right to protest, period. This man caters to the baser instinct. He's all about hate. That is the way he runs his business. That is the way he gained power. And that is the way he holds sway.
Hey, Tom, I think you cut out, but appreciate the phone call. How about this? Because let's hear what Sean Payton had to say after the game. He was very blunt and took me aback. I couldn't believe he did that, but got to be the strongest I've ever heard from an NFL head coach, for sure, because Steve Kerr has come out, Greg Popovich has come out and blasted off, but Sean Payton did not hold his tongue.
Statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear what Sean Payton had to say about the protest and the statement from President Trump.
Well, listen, we just talked about it. For our team, obviously, it was a little different because we were on the road, and generally we would talk about something like that, and, I'm proud of every one of those guys. I felt like this morning coming in, it was would have been rushed for me to meet with guys. I spoke to a few of the players, and I'm sure we spoke about it in the locker room. We'll have a chance to talk more. I would say personally, I'm disappointed in the comments that were made. I think we need a little bit more wisdom in that office, and that's being a little blunt, but that's how I feel. I want that guy to be one of the smarter guys in the room, and it seems like every time he's opening his mouth, it's something that is dividing our country and not pulling us together. And that has nothing to do with my feelings about the anthem, but it's just my take in 24 hours. So that's how I feel.
And Peyton, later on in the press conference, again said that he was proud of his players for taking a stand in what they believe in. And I could tell you that's going to go big time in the locker room. But why don't we hear what Drew Brees has to say? Because we know where Drew Brees' stance is on the anthem, and it is not with his teammates. So let's hear what Drew Brees had to say.
I disagree with what the president said and how he said it. I think it's very unbecoming of the office of the President of the United States to talk like that, to degrade people like that. And obviously, he's disappointed a lot of people. As far as the national anthem protest, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Well, let me say this first. Do I think that there's inequality in this country? Yes, I do. Do I think that there's racism? Yes, I do. I think there's inequality for women in the workplace. I think that there's inequality for people of color, minorities, for immigrants. But as it pertains to the national anthem, I will always feel that if you are an American, that the national anthem is the opportunity for us all to stand up together, to be unified, and to show respect for our country, to show respect for what it stands for, the birth of our nation. There will always be issues with our country. There will always be things that we're battling. And we should all be striving to make those things better. But if the protest becomes that we're going to sit down or kneel or not show respect to the flag of the United States of America and everything that it symbolizes and everything that it stands for and everything that our country has been through to get to this point, I do not agree with that. I feel like that is a unifying thing. The national anthem and standing for the national anthem and looking at the flag with your hand over your heart is a unifying thing that should bring us all together and say, you know what, we know that things are not where they should be, but we will continue to work and strive to make things better, to bring equality to all people, men, women, no matter what your race, creed, religion, it doesn't matter. Equality for all. But if you're an American, then I will always believe that we should be standing, showing respect to our flag with our hand over our heart.
And let me tell you, I got more tweets about, GIFs of a cat walking on a fence, of a guy riding a bicycle on the fence. I think people are bent that Brees, he didn't have a all-out opinion on one side or the other.
I disagree.
I'm just saying what people have said. Trust me, I'm telling you
what Drew Brees just said. Is exactly the way I feel.
Well, I got some spitfire and venom
and he
from
just
people.
Said it
just like he wasn't. They weren't necessarily attacking me, but they were coming after Drew, and they wanted him to take a stand. They don't feel like he took a stand. So,
well, they're wrong. And what he just said was, again, exactly the way that I feel, and the fact of there's obviously racism in this country. The president obviously has, not just on this subject, through the course of the past 9 months, made some absolutely moronic statements.
And why we're talking about it on this show, because he has gone after the NFL.
And
we've never talked about Trump, period, on this show, and I never thought we would. It's come into our realm of the people we cover, the games we watch, and now it's gone full blast.
Absolutely. And like Sean said, I mean, you when you look to your president, you look for a leader who you feel like you can stand behind, and whether you love Trump or dislike Trump or whatever, you're supposed to look to your leader to say comments that are going to make you, I don't know, not feel better about the situation, but make you feel confident that he can see both sides and understand what's going on. And I don't think that people felt that way.
No, because, and look, Drew, you could tell where Drew's pretty much lies. I mean, look, to call Drew Brees a conservative, he's a conservative.
No question.
But I haven't seen many people ever on both sides of the coin through this thing say, wow, what Trump said about the NFL players is correct. Come on. I have not, if that opinion's out there, I haven't heard much of it, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, the whole thing has brought it into our face, and people, I understand where people say, I want to go to sports and get away from politics. Now, you could argue Colin Kaepernick brought politics into sports, and do they have that right? And do people agree with what he's doing? And do people disagree? Yes, there are people on both sides. But now the President of the United States has done this, and every NFL player has a right to react, has a right to express what they feel. You could disagree with the way they're doing it, but they have every right to express disappointment if they feel like, man, if they're called, I wouldn't want to be called SOB. I mean, by the president? Come on.
They absolutely have the right to do what they did, but at the same time, Larry, what does kneeling during the national anthem, you're not taking a stance against your president, you're taking a stance against your country. And so that's why I can see the other side as well, because it doesn't make any sense to me. If you have some beef with your president, I don't think that's the other side, which I can totally understand. So, I mean, it's just so weird, and we shouldn't be talking about this.
But we have to. We are. Well, people say we don't have to, but we are today. So let's take a break right here. We're way past due. We'll get back to the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. I also want to hear from Mark Ingram and from Adrian Peterson on this subject. And, look, it's the topic of the day. What does this do, the Saints' protests of racial inequality, Donald Trump's comments, you name it, and the way they protested, how much does that affect the way you view this team? Are you going to keep watching? Are you going to cut them off? Look, I've seen it all. I've seen all reactions so far, so we want yours. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder.
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
This report is brought to you by the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer.
I wasn't going to put that
From the
much
Fox
in
8
my
Weather
opinion
Center,
out
I'm
there.
meteorologist Bruce Katz. Today for your Monday hour, get the umbrella nearby. We are expecting a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Today's coverage up to 50% with a high of 88.
Just a heads up.
Most rain ends with lows in the upper 60s on the North Shore, low to mid 70s south. Tomorrow for Tuesday, a bit drier. 30% chance of rain.
Gosh, darn it.
Yeah. We still got callers or to run them on.
Yeah.
We get into
Who we
Saturday
have?
of next weekend. From the Fox 8 Weather.
Hold on, phone's ringing.
Okay. Bruce Katz with your Weather Authority forecast.
The Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer
We have
is
some interesting
doctor recommended
comments if
and
you
backed
wanna-
by more medical studies
Yeah, we
than
can read
any
them.
other thermometer. Get yours at your local club warehouse and other fine retailers today.
Exergen is caring for your family.
Sports 1280, New Orleans. Instant replay. Josh Innes. Afternoons,
Surprised we
noon
don't have
until
more
2.
comments, actually.
Look at this. I'm telling you, we're building a behemoth of a radio station here on Sports 1280 in New Orleans. We got 20 people during one commercial break that have tweeted that they're listening to the show. And this is before we've even had LSU football. This is before we've had the Saints.
We might get to 40.
We might get...
All right, so we got Cordell and just called just now. He's like, can y'all just stop talking about this? I'm like, look, you think we want to be talking about it?
By that, Jim.
Right.
I'm glad you're tickled.
I think he didn't like that you were talking about the randos in the trailer park.
Oh, you think that's what it was? He goes, wait a minute.
That's not funny. We randos don't live in no trailer park.
Listen live weekdays on Sports 1280 and the free
I think we'll
iHeart
switch
Radio
gears
app,
hour
or
two.
catch up at sports1280.com.
But I feel like we need to devote an hour to it.
It's the United Rentals Big Equipment Sale, Wednesday, September 27th at 10385 Airline Highway in St. Rose. Quality used equipment for sale, sizzling opportunities and incentives, financing available, great food and giveaways. There are 5 United Rental locations to choose from all over the metro area. West Wego, St. Rose, Toba, Mandeville, and soon New Orleans East. The big event is Wednesday, September 27th at United Rentals, 10385 Airline Highway, St. Rose.
I was surprised
Light towers, welders, air
how
compressors,
many
booms,
people.
scissors, forklifts.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing I see everywhere: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids struggle with it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers up surplus food and gets it to hungry kids. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Unless you grow your food yourself, how do you know where it comes from?
All right, 10 seconds.
Okay.
That's why we started Eat Real Certified. Our dietitians.
Yeah.
Food you're buying is
Love
good
you,
for
Dave.
and good for the planet. Make dining out
Day
easy
after
and
day.
Eat Real. Look for us in your city and at eatreal.org.
Learn what our insiders know about your home teams. Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Welcome back, Dunc and Holder, Larry Holder. Jim Derry is here with you as
It's Funky Monday.
We had we turned Wednesday into Wobble Wobble Wednesday, and I have
That's right, Wobble Wobble Wednesday.
Right, and
I like it.
Jim, I've warmed up to Country Fried
There
Friday.
you go, man.
So this is like
I'm already looking forward to Country Fried Friday.
It's Monday, and Jim's already looking forward to Country Fried Friday. Well, then Clyde will be back in here, and he'll be screaming at me about I should never call Hootie Hootie anymore, and he does not like.
It's not Hootie.
He's always Hootie.
He's not Hootie.
He'll always be Hootie.
He will always be Hootie.
He's not. He wasn't Hootie then, and he's not Hootie now.
Who was he
Clyde's
then?
right.
Who was he? He was a blowfish? Who's Hootie? What's a blowfish?
I think it's some name they just picked out of random skies in South Carolina.
Well, now he's Hootie. But
right.
Let's get to the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Question I'm throwing out there. Look, Saints won the game. They're getting back on the right track, it seems like. But how turned off are you on the protests that the Saints did on Sunday? Does it affect the way you look at the Saints now? Do you want to stay away from the Saints? Does it not bother you? Do you still see them as just, look, they're our team and we're gonna keep doing this, or does not? Opinions are across the board, and look, I can almost empathize with either side, so I'm on the fence. I feel like I'm the weakest columnist in America. Let's go to Cordell in Minnesota. Cordell, thanks for calling. Dunc and Holder, what you got?
Hey, Larry and Jim, how y'all doing?
Hey, how are you, Cordell?
Good. Hey, this is my opinion on the whole situation. Okay, I could see both sides, just like you see both sides. There's people who are upset with there's some of us who are upset with the words that the president said and how things are going in the United States.
Right.
And then I can understand the opposite side where people are passionate about the flag and not kneeling for the flag. But I think what's getting lost in the whole conversation is why Colin Kaepernick kneeled in the first place. No one's talking about that, and that's what's getting lost. It's constantly that black and brown people getting killed by police officers and stuff like that. This is the point I want to make real quick. When you are an oppressed people, it's not your duty or intent to make the oppressor feel comfortable. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I want to be respectful to other people, but the only way to grab somebody's attention is to make them feel uncomfortable. You understand?
And this protest was peaceful. Let's be honest.
You know, the gripes of African Americans or other minorities.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that. So the only way to get their attention is to do something that's gonna grab them.
Yep.
And to me, it seems like that's the only way to grab them.
Hey, Cordell. Hey, appreciate the phone call as always. And look, here's the thing: if this was not peaceful, I would have a massive problem with it. Obviously.
Yeah.
But is it a peaceful protest? Yes. And like I said at the beginning of the show, personally, would I do that? No. But here's the thing. Look, I talked with Thomas Morstead after the game. White guy, grew up in white suburbia. No problem admitting that he comes from a different background than a lot of his friends in the locker room. Like he mentioned Cam Jordan and Mark Ingram and Craig Robertson. He's like, look, these people are my friends. Our wives are friends. Our kids play together. We do things so he felt the need. He wanted to support his friend's stance, but he still stood and put his hand over his heart. And so, look, but that's almost someone who's like, look, I just want to support my friends who feel this is a big issue.
Here's the thing that neither you nor I can understand now, nor ever will understand, is we cannot understand what it is like to be in their shoes.
No chance. Nope.
And that's what does, and this is why it's hard to not be on the fence, because we see both sides, but we really can't see the side of the African American who grew up. And look, I cover high school sports. I see it every day.
Right.
And I cover games where, I cover McDonough 35 and Carr and Carver, and these kids, all they care about is playing sports to make themselves better in life. That's why they're not just doing it because, all these things that go on. And they want to make their lives better, and their parents want their lives to be better, and I want their lives to be better.
Yes.
But we cannot understand, and so what Cordell said, and he's right when it comes to this. So this is why these staunch opposition views to
on both sides,
but this is why, and I'm kind of I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself, but this is where sitting on the fence stands. We can't put ourselves in their shoes. Just because I think there's a better platform to use than to kneel or sit during the national anthem, doesn't mean I understand where they're coming from, because we can't really fully understand where they're coming from.
Well, let's just put it in perspective. What happened to Michael Bennett in Vegas was a travesty.
Right.
That's insane. That's insane. Yeah. So I understand why they would want to protest. I mean, 1,000,000%.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable. And yet but to get the attention, that the protest they do, look, that gets the attention and it ruffles feathers. And look, it depends on what feathers you got. I don't know. It's crazy. But, yeah, look, it's in this world, and that's why we're talking about it today. Let's do another phone call, and then we'll take a quick break. Reggie in Dallas. Reggie, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder. What you got, Reggie?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Good morning, Reggie.
Hey, as far as Trump with his comments, this man is made on negativity. I mean, he made a living firing people on national TV, stuff like that.
I think he's made a living firing people in real life, too.
Right, exactly. And as far as the protest, I love the fact that I'm born in this country. I mean, I could be born anywhere else, and you could see how hard it is in those other places and stuff. But at the same time, we're not getting, I'm an African American, we're not getting all the respect that we think we deserve. For instance, when I'm driving in my car now, I don't even put my wallet in my back pocket. I leave it on the dashboard, because if I get pulled over by the police for anything, I'm afraid of what's going to happen. And nobody should be living like that.
No.
I agree 100%.
You're right.
Like
exactly.
And the fact that he's calling people SOBs for kneeling and stuff like that, come on, man, you're the president. You're supposed to be bringing people together.
And that's what Sean Payton was saying, Reggie. I think that's exactly what Sean Payton was saying. He's like, come on. And this is it was, look, now he's probably, is Trump's referring to Thomas Morstead and Colby Fleener and these guys. Look, they're white guys, and they feel the need that they want to support their friends, their brothers, their teammates. And honestly, it might galvanize the league, honestly, as far as some of this stuff. So it's certainly a wild topic and a wild thing. Normally, look, last two games we were talking about getting rid of coaches, and now we're talking about the president and the NFL and Drew Brees and Sean Payton. So crazy stuff. Hey, Reg, you got to take a break, but appreciate your phone call.
Thanks for the call, Reg,
and your honesty. Let's take one more break, and then top 11 o'clock hour, we'll switch gears to the game. How about that? We'll. I feel like an hour. We only have a 2-hour show, so I feel like devoting an hour to this subject, though, is well worth it, and we appreciate the civil comments, either on both sides of the fence. Right. So we appreciate that. So come on back, Sports1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeart Radio app. Jim Derry in for the Dunc,
woohoo!
And I'm Holder.
The second annual Wine on the River is Saturday, November 11th.
All right, we got Ryan in Miami watching on YouTube.
Yeah, cool. I saw, Jim got it. He showed it. Good, that works. Cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you want me to just keep doing that?
Yeah, that's
perfect. Using your phone. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
All right, this is a short break, so it's a minute 30 and
cool.
Out at 58:50.
Yeah,
has grown through people.
Of course, you don't have a clock, so I'll start playing music when it's time to shut up.
We have a clock.
Just tell me 30.
Automatic
you can tell
show
me.
peeling machinery that
I'm cool.
industry. JM founded the Latrim companies: Intralocks, Laper Stair, Latrim.
Yeah, I asked if he was listening on the app. He's like, no, I'm watching it on the YouTube. I'm like, oh.
Hundreds of new inventions used around the world. If you
Miracles do happen.
Christmas miracle.
Well, Clyde had to come in and set it up.
Visit Latrim.com.
Oh, see, all right. That doesn't count then.
I'll do it tomorrow. I see what's going on. Like it's right in front of me.
I promise I'll do it tomorrow.
I did cheat.
We've only been doing this show for over 2 months. Promise I'll do it tomorrow.
Financing it. Giveaways. There are 5 United Rental locations to choose from all over the metro area. West Wego, St. Rose, Houma, Mandeville, and soon New Orleans East. The big event is Wednesday, September 27th at United
did Ryan
Rentals,
say he had to hang up the
10385
phone?
Airline Highway,
He said that in the comment section.
Towers,
He's still there?
Yeah, he's gone. No,
okay.
he's gone.
All right, he said that in the comment section.
Funny.
Mom had lung cancer.
All right.
She didn't have many choices.
Ryan, appreciate you trying.
Today, you do. If you've been diagnosed with lung cancer,
hope you're not in trouble, Ryan.
StandUpToCancer.org/lungcancer to learn more.
Low prices every.
All right, 10 seconds.
Car rental, best rates, best service, and best vehicles. Free pickup, delivery, and drop off. 504-525-4551. Be nifty. Call Nifty. Low prices every day.
This speech is my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. Here we go.
This is Duncan Holder on Sports 1280 New Orleans.
Jim Derry getting his dance on for the YouTube crowd.
Dave's got to play that on Halloween, getting tricky.
As I was gone, my wife already decorated the house.
Oh, mine was done
Halloween.
3 weeks ago.
Well, I think she tried to find the stuff and couldn't. So, hey,
it's my wife's favorite holiday.
My wife's too.
It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Dress up in a costume.
Maybe it's
because
she likes dressing up the 1-year-old as a ghost. I have no idea. I don't whatever.
We've dressed the kids up as Yoda, as like a
usually
Paw
after
Patrol
work
dog,
anyway,
or
so.
whatever. Yeah.
But Halloween's on a Tuesday this year, so
you'll be ready to go trick or
treat.
treating.
Candy corn and all that.
Exactly.
Junk
So, but we've been talking this hour about how protests from the Saints does it affect your fandom? Are you going to walk away? I said at the beginning of the show, I've gotten emails where people saying I'm done with the NFL. They're upset that Drew Brees is seemingly on the fence, and they're upset with the way that the Saints organization handled it because they defended them, and so this is a topic that no one is going to win. Like, you're not going to convince everyone.
No, and that's not something we never even said. Of the people that believe what they believe, 99% of them aren't going to change their mind no matter what.
No, like I said at the beginning of the show, I was like, we're not trying to save the world here, but this is a conversation that's being.
World.
We're not the world. That'd be a terrible world.
David in Vegas.
Let's go to David in Vegas. David, thanks for calling Duncan Holder with Jim Derry sitting in for the Dunc. What's up?
Woo!
I'm doubling down, by the way.
What's up, Larry?
What's up? How are you?
Well, listen, you guys always have an entertaining show, to say the least. I'm going to lighten the mood a little bit. Let's talk a little Saints. Great win. I didn't see it happening. I thought it was an excellent win, especially to go to Carolina and do what they did. I thought that was just a good way to stop the bleeding, so to speak. They played horrible the first two games, and I think Ken Crowley has to get a lot of credit. I mean, if you watch the way he played, he was just all over the ball. I mean, he played really good, and I think that since last year, that experience he had from last year has really helped him.
Ken Crawley, by the way, he had 9 tackles total, 8 solo. He led the team. He had a tackle for a loss and 2 pass breakups. And I know Saints fans are wondering, why in the world was Devontae Harris playing and he wasn't?
Right.
What is going on?
Exactly. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I think I brought it up last week. Where was he at? And so it was just a breath of fresh air to see him doing what he did basically in training camp, which he played. I thought he played really well. Overall, I think they played well. They played well, and they were able to get the win. I think going into Miami, going into London, this gives them a boost, and they have a shot of winning that game. And then if they get to 2-2, it's anything can happen after that.
Yeah, it's a new ball game. Absolutely. Hey, Dave, appreciate the phone call in Vegas.
The schedule's completely different. So
once
you get past Green Bay,
yes.
Once you get past Green Bay, obviously you got to play Atlanta twice, and they're 3-0, and they had the horseshoe up to proverbial keister yesterday. But after Green Bay, things change, and if they can beat Carolina, they can beat Tampa Bay, and they can split one with Atlanta. Who knows?
They go 3-3 in the first 6 games. They've got a good shot, and I just think that as far as my opinion on the team,
I just don't know if we're going to see that team every week.
I'm
not
know if we're gonna see
trusting
that either.
anything.
Yeah, but along the way, you'll get Teron Armstead back. You'll get Zach Street back. Willie Snead comes back this week. He is going to London. He's probably with the team now in London as they've already arrived.
Is he out of the doghouse?
Well, they need him, so
he's
out the league's doghouse. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's not the doghouse that matters.
Well, they need him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. The man with the visor says.
Absolutely. So great hour number. And now we're going to switch gears to the game. Saints obviously played well in Carolina, and we will hear from Sean Payton and Drew Brees. We will also hear from Manti Te'o and Sheldon Rankins on the win as well. So come on back here with Jim Derry filling in for Jeff Duncan. I'm, of course, Larry Holder here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. We're Duncan Holder. I'm going to get a water. I'll be back in a minute.
Welcome to America Speaks by Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. Download the Zip app today. It's Monday, September 25th. Taylor Swift is being sued over lyrics to Shake It Off, claiming the lyrics are too similar to the lyrics for 3LW's song Play Is Gonna Play. Do you think this is legit? 85% of women and 76% of men agree that this is just a total money grab. And Khloe Kardashian, she can't catch a break. When responding to negative comments saying she's getting fat and hiding it with baggy clothes, she says she was just trying to dress comfortable. Are haters taking it too far? The short answer, yes. 79% of women and 58% of men agree with that. The remainder feel that she should have known better. Answer all of life's opinion-based questions with just one swipe. Download Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. In the App Store, it's free and 100% anonymous.
WODT WNOE FM HD2 New Orleans. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app. Search Sports 1280. Fox Sports trending now.
Starting with news from Major League Baseball, the NL East winning Nationals plan to activate Bryce Harper today before Washington's game at Philadelphia. He's been out since August 12th with a bone bruise in his left knee and a calf strain. He suffered those injuries, of course, when he slipped on a wet base. NBA news, the Bulls and Dwayne Wade have agreed on a contract buyout, and the Cavaliers reportedly are the leading candidate to sign him. While in NFL news, Eagles running back Darren Sproles done for the season. Reportedly tore the ACL in his knee and broke his arm on the same play during Sunday's win over the Giants. Multiple reports say he's having surgery on his arm later today and on his knee in the near future. Alabama got 52 of the first place votes. They are number one, of course, in the AP Top 25. Clemson 2, Oklahoma, Penn State, and USC rounding out the top 5. I'm Deb Carson.
Unless you grow your food yourself, how do you know where it comes from and what's been done to it? That's why we started Eat Real Certified. Our dietitians verify that the food you're buying is good for you and good for the planet. Make dining out easy and eat real. Look for us in your city and at eatreal.org.
Gary LaVox here from Rascal Flats. Seems like there's never enough time to get done what you have to. It's easy to get wrapped up in work and the busyness of life. But sometimes the people you care about most get the least of your time.
That's where Klein
As you chase your dreams, don't forget the people that mean the most to you. Your friends, family, kids, or spouse. They need you. It's a good reminder for me, and I hope for you too. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
As a small business owner, you're juggling it all, including customers' calls from your personal phone. But with Grasshopper, you get a business phone number and a business phone system from our mobile app, so you can work smarter, not harder. Grasshopper forwards calls, texts, even transcribes voicemails. Everything you need to simplify your business and stay responsive. With Grasshopper, there's no long-term contracts, and customer support is 24/7. Whether you're starting or growing your business, Grasshopper is the answer. Now, get $20 off your first month when you visit grasshopper.com/radio.
Welcome to America Speaks by Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. Download the Zip app today. It's Monday, September 25th. Taylor Swift is being sued over lyrics to Shake It Off, claiming the lyrics are too similar to the lyrics for 3LW song Play Is Gonna Play. Do you think this is legit? 85% of women and 76% of men agree that this is just a total money grab. And Khloe Kardashian, she can't catch a break when responding to negative comments far. The short answer, yes. 79% of women and 58% of men agree with that. The remainder feel that she should have known better. Answer all of life's opinion-based questions with just one swipe. Download Zip, the polling app that lets you tell the nation what you think. In the App Store, it's free and 100% anonymous.
I always have trouble getting to college because Saints always happen.
Tonight, the wait is over.
Well, in this
America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice, is back. With superstar coaches Adam, Blake, and Miley.
Go, it's on!
Plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award-winning vocal powerhouse, Jennifer Hudson.
All I gotta say is, glory!
Do we have guests this week?
Oh, man,
I don't have anybody. I
The
usually
Voice blind auditions begin tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC.
Of course, our kids should eat fresh, healthy foods, but there's no supermarket nearby.
I wish we were closer to good health care because of our son's asthma.
And closer to nice homes, decent schools.
But we have none of these resources.
Many variables can shape children's lives, like the zip code where they grow up. Learn how you can help improve your community at HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing, shared opportunity in every community. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
For over 80 years, in the heart of Mid-City, where it's always been, is a New Orleans tradition, Mandina's Restaurant. Come in for some New Orleans staples. Old-style New Orleans.
All right, ladies, we are clear of phone calls.
All right, cool.
And some of the best seafood in the city. Always New Orleans.
I think we might be getting one. This guy, EF, called. He said he didn't want to hold on to the break, though.
Okay.
All right, 30 seconds.
Video on iHeartRadio. It's fantastic. Bask in the failed hopes and dreams of yes.
All right, so hey, when you're wrapping up the show, you're heading straight over there, or you?
Yes.
What you doing? Because I got to grab all the banners and all that crap to do too.
Okay.
So I'm gonna handle all the stupid iHeart crap.
All right, cool.
You just do the NOLA.com stuff. I mean, if you want to grab an interview to play for later in the week or whenever.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that. Yeah, we'll play sound from all that. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So you know what I mean, because. Yeah, when y'all spelled it out for him, I'm like, wow, that makes way too much sense.
Yeah. Dunc and Holder, hour number 2. Larry Holder, Jim Derry here with you. Jeff skipped the Charlotte trip. He skipped the Saints picking up a big win, and he just said, hey.
Going to get himself some strawberries and cream.
He's going to London. Heading over to London. Our own Josh Katzenstein's going to be over there. Our own Amos Morale's going to be over there as well. And so we're going to have some blanket coverage of Saints taking on the Dolphins in London. But now we're going to blanket our coverage, hour number 2, on the game. And it was a good one. Saints 34, Panthers 13. And I know I didn't see that coming. Jim, I know you didn't see that coming. And
I could lie and say I saw it coming.
You could lie, because I've on record saying I didn't see it coming.
Me too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you had your picks. That's right. I forgot about that. But look, it's an overall effort, offensively, defensively, and to me, it's something that you didn't have to have Drew Brees carry on your back. I mean, you had Drew Brees being efficient.
The running game appeared.
The running game was there. They diversified the carries, and even though Alvin Kamara only carried the ball twice, I mean, but he put a big
right,
yardage.
But he wasn't in there for 35 plays.
Right, exactly, and
your number one back was in there more than any other back.
And second week in a row where Mark Ingram was in there more than anybody else. Michael Thomas, they brought him back to life. The Saints were able to figure out a game plan to open him up, because I could tell you after that game last week, where he specifically pulled me aside and said, "Did you see how they were covering me? 2-3 people." He's like, "No wonder nothing's happening."
Ted Ginn caught the ball.
Ted Ginn caught the ball, a deep ball. He did
a fantastic catch.
He did exactly what
he looked like the old number 19, like the one before him.
Well, last year there was a 40-yard touchdown in the night game against Carolina, where it wasn't the exact same spot in the end zone, but it was going into that end zone, and so Ted Ginn caught it for the Saints this year and made it happen. And look, defensively, you got to give them credit. I mean, they switched things up, though, on the defensive line. They did some more rotational work. You saw more Haley Kikaha. You saw some Trey Hendrickson. And it wasn't that Cam Jordan played 100% of the snaps. He played about 85% of the snaps, so they were giving him some rest.
But he was as effective yesterday and don't get me wrong, he's clearly the Saints' best defensive player. And he was as effective yesterday as he's been in at least a couple of seasons yesterday. I mean, they had no idea how to stop him yesterday.
Yeah, they absolutely had a good game plan of what they wanted to do. And they did it. I mean, it's not like they were being dictated. And it's funny, some of the players have said that. Like, usually we're the ones being, the first 2 games, we're the ones being pushed around. This time, the Saints were the ones doing the pushing around.
So I hate to throw the negative out there, but
what?
Why? I mean, where was that? I mean, did they think they didn't have the game plan for the first 2 games? I mean, they obviously spent a lot of time game planning for this game. Was very well coached. The first 2 games couldn't have been worse coached, I don't think. So what is it about yesterday? I mean, did they just wake up one day? Did they wake up Monday and say, oh my God, we're 0-2 again. We actually better get to work. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's what it seemed like almost to me, because yesterday the old Sean Payton was coaching the way the old Sean Payton coached. In every facet of the game.
I don't know. What about at the end of the first half, where time management? You thought Les Miles was on the sideline. That almost blew up in their face.
True. That's true. But I mean, overall, you have to give the team, if not an A+, you certainly give them an A for yesterday in just about every phase of the game. Even special teams, I thought they did a good job.
My post-game grades, I gave a lot of high grades, obviously. And Will Lutz, he missed a 56-yarder. He drilled the 50-yarder. He would have made that from 60, 65. I mean, he drilled it. So you can't expect him to make a 56-yarder. I mean, so Lutz has been good. Look, even Ted Ginn had a good punt return. I think he got like a 12 or 13-yard. And in the NFL, if you could get that on a punt return, that's a good.
Although the rookie from Philly made a 61-yarder to win it. So.
Well, hey. The game wasn't on the line.
Will Lutz is one of the best kickers in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear from some of the players, some of the coaches. We got sound from Sean Payton, from Drew Brees, from Manti Te'o and from Sheldon Rankins. Let's start with Sean Payton on just getting takeaways, 3 takeaways in the game. Let's hear what Sean Payton had to say about taking the football away.
Each week we make an emphasis on the takeaways and ball security offensively. But if you looked at this series, specifically this team, it was going to be probably one of the most important stats in the game. It was good to get some takeaways offensively. We were smart with the ball. We had one play where we almost turned it over. Thought we had pretty good balance. It's a pretty good defensive front that we were playing, and I thought, we played a pretty good complementary game. I felt like the first half, most of it was spent on their side of the 50, and when the mistakes were to come up, we were able to benefit from it. So that was good.
That's it.
And you was talking about good coaching, and it just popped in my head. What was Carolina doing? They could have kicked a 52-yard field goal. Instead, they punted. It was a touchback. Talk about bad coaching. Let me tell you, Ron Rivera, he came in the season on a bit of a hot seat, and even though they started 2-0,
done a good job.
Even though they started 2-0, there were, you could tell this. My peers from the Charlotte Observer, Joe Person, and he's on the beat, and then Scott Fowler, who's their columnist, and the sense they had was people weren't totally on board with Carolina because of the teams they played to start, and now after this, there's some question marks in Carolina.
Well, but still, though, I mean, the way their defense had played before yesterday, I don't care who you play. When they play as well as they played before yesterday, there's no way, I don't care who goes in there, whatever, you still couldn't see the Saints scoring 34 points against that defense, and, not even talking about the 13 that they only allowed, but, where was Luke Kuechly yesterday? Their defensive backfield looked like a bunch of college players yesterday, and Drew carved them up. But the offensive line played well beyond what I thought they were capable of yesterday. So, and that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But, to me, it all comes down to, and I said this in the beginning of the year, they're going to have trouble figuring out how to use Ingram, Peterson, Kamara.
No doubt.
And they are starting to realize again, and I don't know how many times you need to realize this, that your number one back is Mark Ingram. Give him the ball. I mean, I don't know how many carries he had yesterday, but I'm guessing 13-ish.
He had 14 carries, 56 yards, along the 15. Adrian Peterson had 9 for 33. Alvin Kamara 2 for 37. Of course, the big one, the touchdown.
So they ran the ball 25-ish times. But Ingram, that needs to be upped by 3 or so for Ingram, but they're working in the right direction. I mean, the guy is one of the best running backs in the NFL. I don't care what the Mark Ingram haters say or whatever. He is the best, one of the top 10 running backs in the NFL overall. Maybe not scoring-wise, but give him the ball. They did yesterday.
Let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. Let's go to EF. EF, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder, with Jim Derry filling in for one Jeffrey Duncan. What's up, EF? You there?
Yes.
We're listening.
How's it going?
No, this is Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. How did that happen?
Oh, I don't know.
Dave.
You're fire the SOB. Fire the SOB.
Ryan, what's up? Were you listening to us on YouTube? You got your phone charged up or something?
I'm listening to you guys on YouTube.
There we go. All right.
Well, not no more because I'm on the phone now.
Oh, there you go. What's up, Ryan? You're like, hello? We all look like, yeah. Anyway.
We'll play the Saints in week 1.
Exactly. So, what's up, Ryan?
Yeah, I wanted to make one statement towards the anthem thing.
Sure.
Basically, and then go into the Saints because I love my Saints.
Go for it.
But with the national anthem thing, I feel as though we have a lot of people just in America as a whole that doesn't want to have the conversation of race. And it's a long-standing problem in our country,
That's true.
Where people want to ignore racism, which is really kind of upholding it and allowing it to stay alive, And this protest is, again, not a protest of the American flag or the anthem, but it's something that's inconvenient. And now that people are actually aware of it, you're seeing people saying it's not a disrespect to the flag, but then you hear people saying right after that, you hear them saying it's disrespectful to the flag. It's like you can't rebuttal with that. You can't rebuttal with it's disrespectful to the flag right after I said it's not a disrespect to the flag. But that's my statement on the anthem. Just people need to be aware of racism so we can end it. And
I think people need to just be aware of what they're protesting. I think that's the big problem. People feel like,
but the media is perpetuating this as, oh, he's protesting and disrespecting the soldiers. Well, as of lately, they haven't been saying that. But when it initially happened, they wanted to deflect from the real issue and say, well, you're disrespecting the soldiers, you're disrespecting.
Well, I don't know if I'd put the blanket on the. I wouldn't put the blanket. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Talking about the fact, that it's not disrespectful. And yes, we stand with Kaepernick on his protest because what he's protesting is a real issue.
Hey, Ryan, I don't think us as
we've got past that. Now the media is actually talking about the issue.
Yeah, because I don't want to
inequality, racism.
I don't want to put a blanket that the media covered it as they're covering the protests to soldiers. I don't think that's necessarily true, but I do think that they're a section of society that does feel that way, and I think that does get lost in what people, NFL players specifically, since we're talking about that, what they are protesting for, and it doesn't have like Mark Ingram. Honestly, Ryan, when you get off the call, we'll play Mark Ingram's comments because he's asked about that and that people are taking the wrong idea. Yeah, so. But Ryan, get your comment in on the Saints because I want to play the Mark Ingram bite and then we'll get back to Saints talk. But what you got about the team? Saints picking up the big win. Oh, I guess Ryan's gone. Okay. Well, hey, Dave, why don't we play the Mark Ingram soundbite because it does have to do with this topic. So let's play that, and then we will take a quick break and shoot it back to Saints and Panthers.
How much do you think the original message is maybe getting lost just because of the way people react?
It's crazy, man. Like, it's crazy. Like, people just think like we're just disrespecting soldiers or disrespecting our country. We love our country. We love our soldiers. We just want this world to be a better place. We want this country to be a better place, and that takes equality amongst everyone, every single race, every single person, no matter your culture, no matter your political views. You should respect the man next to you. You should love the man next to you. You should treat them how you want to be treated. And that message gets lost, and that's the main reason that we're standing for is injustice and equality in this world amongst every race. You know what I mean?
Did you hear anything from the fans behind you?
Yeah, they were saying, stand up losers and all that. You know that's gonna come. I mean, I'm sure if you look on social media, MFing us and telling us we're the worst type of Americans. But I love my country, and I want the best for my country. And he claims he wants the best for his country, make America great again. That's his slogan, how he got elected. And in order for us to be great again as a country and not have all this racism and bigotry and injustice, we all just need to, realize that there is a problem and be there for each other to try and correct the problem. If everyone cares about each other, if everyone loves one another, we'll be a much better country, man. We won't have many of the problems that we do. And that's just what we're standing for, man, just for justice and equality amongst every single person in this country, amongst every single person in this world.
Another 100% agreement.
Look, that's why I there are people who want you to be on one side or the other. I don't have to be on one side or the other. I mean,
no.
I think that's part of the problem with the issue in general. You don't need to be completely on one side or the other.
I think this situation is unique in the fact that I think that if you look at both sides and can understand both sides, we wouldn't be in the problem that we're in. And we don't need to go to extremes and I'm not calling out anybody or anyone, but there's a middle ground here. I mean, and I'm not saying we're right. It's an opinion. They're all opinions, but
right.
There's no
100% concrete correct answer. There just isn't. It's so much gray area. So much.
Before we go to break, I do want to give a shout out. My sister Christy is watching on YouTube, and she's in the hospital and going through some major issues. So, hello, Kristen Derry. We love you.
Well, I just want Jim to dance for you I'll keep a shirt on. Keep your shirt on.
I might slip on the Saints towel up here.
You might. So, yeah, let's switch it back gears to Saints-Panthers. Big win by the Saints. And we'll hear from Sean Payton and Drew Brees and Manti Te'o and Sheldon Rankins, too. So we'll hear from all of them on the big 34-13 win up in Carolina. So come on back, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Jim Derry in for the Dunc, and I'm the holder.
The reality about LSU is we saw an incredibly ill-prepared football team.
Afternoons, noon
The 11:30 break is the one that's kind of extended,
100%
right?
falls on the
Well,
coach.
no.
Okay.
Top of the hour.
Sports 1280.
That's done.
New Orleans.
I forget.
If you need a payday loan fast, try
Obviously, I
LendUp.com.
forget.
Apply in minutes on your
It's been a
phone or
while,
computer,
and I
and you can
showed
have
up
cash in
at,
your account
Howard
fast. LendUp.com, the better payday loan.
didn't show up at
LendUp.com,
our
subject to
old
availability in
Joyce, how
your
you
state.
doing?
LendUp is a licensed credit services organization, not a direct lender in Ohio and Texas.
No, she didn't tell me
Our
Dave did.
sold
She
out
let me on the way.
2017 iHeartRadio Music Festival. 2 nights, 1 stage, over 20 of the biggest artists on the planet. Celebrated with iHeartRadio fans from around the world for music's holy grail. Our sold out 2017 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Coldplay, Pink, DJ Khaled, Thomas Rhett, The Weeknd, and more. iHeartRadio. Catch our iHeartRadio Music Festival TV special Wednesday and Thursday night, October 4th and 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on the CW.
He's an extraordinary young man.
ABC Tonight.
I'm Dr. Sean Murphy.
Sometimes being different
Yes, he has autism.
can make all the difference.
He sees things in ways that we can't even begin to understand.
You're a nice kid, and you're obviously very smart, but you don't belong here.
From the creator of House.
He's got a serious deficit.
The child is alive today because of that deficit.
Tomorrow one may be dead because of it.
The Good Doctor. Series premiere tonight, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Bad theater seats, cheap Halloween masks, my apartment, all things with obstructed views. Add to these large trucks and buses. 18-wheelers and large buses have big blind spots, and like my apartment, they don't always have the best view. Bus and truck drivers deal with blind spots around the entire vehicle. Always take care not to ride alongside or too close behind them. Our roads, our safety. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
The Home Depot is pouring more into paint and putting more money into the pockets of pros with top quality paints without the paint store price. Like Glidden paints. Glidden lasts
15 seconds.
Better and costs less at the Home Depot. Nobody beats our prices, guaranteed. So save time and money with Glidden. Paints that get the job done. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.
This is Dunc and Holder on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back to the show. Saints 34, Panthers 13, and normally we'd be gushing about the offense, but the defense put the offense in some pretty good spots. And I'll tell you what, I sitting in the press box at Bank of America Stadium, we saw P.J. Williams undercut the route to make the first interception. Saints actually know how to make a takeaway because they've had no takeaways in the first 2 games. And just how well he read the play. He undercut it, leaping catch, and they scored a touchdown 4 plays later, and that's successful football in its essence.
Yeah.
And the Saints...
he was so frustrated, except for maybe 3 or 4 plays in that game. And yet he's losing by 3 touchdowns, and he's doing the old first down thing. You're getting your butt waxed by a team that is 0-2. Don't celebrate when you're losing by that. No, that's a whole different.
That's a whole different topic, which can be pretty cut and dry for most people outside. A little different than protesting racial inequality. We're talking about Odell Beckham lifting up his leg. And
all right, that was funny though. That was creative.
Yeah, and the headlines were even more creative in the New York tabloids.
I didn't see him.
Giants, you're in trouble, or something like that. I mean, there was. They definitely had a play on urine, and that was pretty classic.
Well, maybe because Eli looked like he was completely lost for the first 2 quarters of that game, maybe more than that, 2.5 quarters. I know you didn't get to see much of it because you were doing what you do, but Eli, man, he just was not looking like a Manning for the first 2.5 quarters, and really,
and they're in
no running game.
No, they're in trouble. Orleans Darkwa from Tulane, not,
and he's hurt.
And he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. He was on the sideline after laying on the bench. They were working on his legs. I don't know what happened.
Oh boy. Well, Saints are 1-2, and
Saints are a better football team than the Giants.
Yeah. Well, offensively for sure.
And I would have even said that before yesterday. So that's saying something.
Now, I've had a couple players, Mike Thomas and Manti Te'o, long trip after the loss.
The season was over.
Yeah, I think absolutely. So let's hear from Manti Te'o. I had a chance to catch up with him, and look, that whole overall unit as a whole, as far as the defense played well. And here's what Manti Te'o had to say after the Saints win on Sunday.
How important was it, not just a win, but a significant win? I mean, you guys played well, both sides of football, and really, by the end, I mean, it wasn't close by the end.
Yeah, it was how we knew we could play. Not saying that we didn't play, we didn't put our best forward, or we didn't give it our all the first 2 games, but we didn't execute as well as we wanted to. I think this game was a game where everything was clicking. We were playing the brand of football that we wanted to play. We were playing together. And that was the most important thing. We were playing together, and we kept building off of each other. And it wasn't a perfect game, but when it wasn't going well, we held our composure. And so it was a good win for us, first of the season, and a good building block for our team.
Do you think it was important to get a win before you go to London?
Oh, it was huge. It was just a huge game for it. We don't like saying these are must-win games, but it was important. It was important for us as a team, both the veterans and the younger guys, to feel what that feels like. And I've always been a firm believer that losing is contagious, and so is winning. And it's all about the culture, and I think it was a good step in the right direction for us.
Kind of like a good culture win.
Yeah. It was. I mean, when you saw that type of win is a cultural win. It's all 3 phases of the game. We're executing. We're trying to limit the mistakes, and we're building off of each other. So.
And Michael Thomas, I asked him afterwards about London, and I don't even know if I asked him or if he just brought it up. I'll just read his quote that he gave me. He said, "Ultimately, me personally, I wasn't going to try to fly all the way to London with 0-3. There's no way. That's all that was on my mind, was to win this game. I'm sure it was in a bunch of guys' heads. I can't speak for everyone, but it was in my head. I tried to show that in my play." They showed it in their play. There's no question about that.
Sounds like he was saying if they went 0-3, he wasn't going.
I'm going to stay back.
I'm going to just stay home.
I'm good. I'll just hang out here.
Larry, one comment we got in our blog here, a regular that I think I have like 3 regulars of my picks column, and one of them's NOLA Girl, and she often comments. So she says, Saints down both starting tackles, marching to Carolina and punch one of the league's best front 7 right in the mouth. Yes, the Panthers defense got caught sleeping, but how much did it surprise you?
I think it definitely surprised me because you look at the way Julius Peppers had been playing going in that game. K'Wan Short is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Like you said, Kuechly was not a factor. Thomas Davis wasn't really a factor.
In fact, he made a couple big mistakes.
Yeah, Davis kind of got banged up. And let's also not forget Cam Newton was out without Greg. It's such a good tackle, and yeah, absolutely. So
but of course, he gets hurt when the wind blows. So
poor Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah,
poor guy. Why don't we take a quick break right here on the show? And when we get back, we will hear from Sean Payton. We'll hear from Drew Brees. We will hear from Sheldon Rankins, and if we can, we'll hear from you. Phone calls 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved here on Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app. Dunc and Holder.
Your forecast on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
He's like calling me
This
in the
report
show.
is brought to you by the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer.
We're dealing with a few showers on this Monday, but overall mostly dry. We will see a little bit more activity.
And you could have cash in your account fast.
We're back.
LendUp.com,
Should be
the
back.
better payday loan. LendUp.com, subject to availability in your state. LendUp is a licensed credit services organization, not a direct lender, in Ohio and Texas.
Low prices every day.
Nifty Car Rental. Best rates, best
I don't want to
service,
be
and
funny,
best vehicles.
but is
Free
it okay
pickup,
if I
delivery, and
stand?
drop-off. 502-545-4541.
You dying?
Be
My
Nifty.
legs are
Call Nifty.
Your legs are hurting.
I had to sleep on a really funky couch.
One Hit Wonder Radio.
Well, you're going to be
on
out the screen,
iHeartRadio.
though.
Bask in the failed hopes and dreams of yesterday's hitmakers.
Forgot about these chairs.
An entire
Glory-
radio
yes, the old
station
glory
dedicated
days.
to your guilty pleasure. Come on, you know you're itching to line dance right now. Go ahead, we won't tell. Celebrate One Hit One Day on iHeartRadio. Open the iHeartRadio app and start reminiscing now.
It's the United Rentals Big Equipment Sale, Wednesday, September 27th at 10385 Airline Highway in St. Rose. Quality used equipment for sale, sizzling opportunities and incentives, financing available, great food and giveaways. There are 5 United Rental locations to choose from all over the metro area. West Wego, St. Rose, Houma, Mandeville, and soon New Orleans East. The big event is Wednesday, September 27th at United Rentals, 10385 Airline Highway, St. Rose.
All right, coming back.
Air compressors, booms, scissors, forklifts.
Whether you ride the wave or like to growl, we're talking your teams. Sports 1280, New Orleans.
Welcome back to Dunc and Holder. Jim Derry sitting in for Jeff Duncan. And
I know I dance better than Dunc.
I don't know. You seen Dunc's wiggly arms? He can get it done.
Maybe after a couple of pints.
I'm still waiting on him to do the worm.
Yes, Jeff needs a worm. Yeah, let's have Jim do the worm. How about that?
I ain't doing the worm, boys.
I think you might be broken. You know, hey, the Saints, they were doing the worm. They were partying like it's
why wouldn't they?
At least 2013, at least.
Look, when you start off the way that they started, and you go out and smash somebody in the face, a team that was 2-0, and 2 games ahead of you in the division race already, you deserve to wiggle and enjoy yourself after the game.
Absolutely. Convincing 34-13 win up at Bank of America Stadium. Let's hear what Sean Payton had to say about not only just winning the game, but picking up a convincing win.
It was good to get one. Obviously, there is that sense of urgency. And
yeah, you got Bob and Destrehan.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Those are important. Those are important things to know. I think we had a good week of practice. I thought we had some good things early on happen. First drive was good. And defensively, the first turnover resulted in a touchdown. And look, there'll be a lot we have to clean up, but I was pleased the players were able to get a win.
Let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number to get involved. We've got Bob in Destrehan. Bob, thanks for calling Dunc and Holder with
what's going
Derry and Holder today.
on?
What's up?
First off, Bob, what happened to them Wildcats Friday night?
I don't know. I think they caught the flu that the Saints had 2 weeks ago. So.
All right, well, we won't belabor that point. Go ahead. Let's talk about the Saints.
I don't know. For my kids, that where they almost had 12 men on the field, and Sean Payton, I think, had to call a timeout. What would have killed the Saints defender to just go on the side of the field that he was closest to, which obviously would have been the Panther side? I mean, what would have hurt?
I don't think he could do that.
That's not legal. So
I think he
you got to
might
make it to your own sideline.
Yeah, there's no foxholes over there. I think he would have been. You can't do that. That's actually actually illegal.
What would have been the penalty, though?
The same penalty.
It would have been the same.
It'd have been the same penalty.
As if he was just standing in the middle of the field. But
yeah.
You got to make it to your own sideline. Yeah, trust me, other people would do it far more often if it wasn't a penalty. So yeah, but
and I don't know if you guys touched on it yet, but what did y'all think about Peyton's comments about Trump's lack of wisdom.
Oh yeah,
we've
talked about that a good bit, Bob, in the first hour. That's a good plug. If you missed any of the first hour, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, and our YouTube live feed. And I will say this: this isn't Sean Payton's purpose, I would think, but I certainly think the fact that he stood up for players and basically said that he was proud of the players for taking a stand, a peaceful stand. I think that goes a long way in the locker room. So much so where I just saw something on Twitter. They're wondering if Mike Tomlin screwed up by not letting them get out on the field and show that. And I also felt talking with some of
First of all, it's against the NFL policy to not come out. There's actually a rule that says you need to be out there during the national anthem. I don't know if we never really discussed that, but you're not supposed to stay. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to. If the NFL would have punished them for that, there would be major backlash about it. But you can't stay in the locker room.
Right. Well,
you're supposed to be on the field.
According to Darren Ravel from ESPN, the one Steelers player that did come out, Steelers lineman Alejandro Villanueva, is the best-selling NFL jersey and T-shirt over the last 24 hours.
It's not a surprise.
No.
It's the same 30% that keep Mr. Trump with his 30% approval rate.
Woo, spicy, but yeah, I do think that it could be a byproduct of what Sean Payton said, but actually, because I talked with Sheldon Rankins about the game and about the protest and about how the Saints and Sean Payton had their backs. Why don't we play my interview after the win with Sheldon Rankins?
Talked earlier in the week on fixing those little things, and how well do you think you got?
All right, 3 minutes.
So you guys were able to affect Cam Newton, and it all kind of, everything worked together, kind of snowballed, and you guys were able to pick up a big win.
Right. I mean, it's a confidence thing. Guys were able to do some good things early, and it got everyone else fired up. We were able to get pressure, force Cam into some bad decisions. We were able to create some turnovers, and we were able to give our offense multiple chances to go down the field and score.
What about getting those takeaways? Obviously, you pressure him, he gets rattled, and he starts making some bad decisions. It all kind of goes hand in hand, right?
Yeah, definitely. We know Cam's a guy who wants to get into a rhythm, but keeping pressure in his face and making him have to throw the ball before he wants to, or throw it to guys he didn't plan on throwing to is big, and we were able to do that throughout the entirety of the game, and we were able to hold up.
What about not just getting a win, but a substantial win where, this was, you guys put the pedal to the metal and really kind of ran away with this thing.
Yeah, definitely. We knew coming on this basically 2-game road trip, we were going to need to bow up. We knew, they always say there's two things that always travel on the road, good defense and a good running game. So we knew we had to bring our defense, and we were able to do it today.
The protest, what went into that? Did you guys talk as a group, or did you kind of how did you guys come to decide to do that?
We talked as a group collectively. It was something we felt strongly about, something we felt needed to be done, and we did it, and we stand by our decision.
Why do you think it needed to be done?
I'm not going to dive too much into the politics of it, but a lot of the things going on in this world right now, and a lot of what was said by our president, we didn't agree with it. So we felt with a lot of our other NFL brothers taking a stand, it would be a disservice if we didn't support them by doing the same.
Well, Sean had some really strong comments defending you guys and really kind of not taking up for the president. How did you feel that you had a kind of a coach and the Saints put out a statement during the game where it was pretty strong?
30 seconds.
They were behind you guys and weren't going to kind of tolerate what was being said.
It definitely makes you feel good. When you feel strongly about something and you have your head man, your boss in your corner backing you 100%, it makes you feel that much more happy.
10 seconds.
Taking that stand. So, we were glad to hear he had our back in that, and just happy to hear it.
There you go.
Well, taking the stand has angered at least one politician here in the state, saying that Representative Harvard wants to pull all of the public funding that the Saints receive.
Good luck.
Because of the Saints players' protests.
Good
yesterday.
luck with that.
That's not going to happen.
No. It's not going to happen.
That's his stance.
And you know what?
He's
he doesn't
taking
even
a
really
stand.
mean it.
Probably not.
No, he just, look, one thing, all these things I saw on Facebook, and some of them actually from friends of mine, I'm going to boycott the Saints. I turned off my TV. Some bar in Chalmette decided they weren't going to play the game anymore. Let me see if that's still the case. If this team, which in my opinion would be a miraculous recovery and makes it to the playoffs, because you got to win at least 10 games, I think, in this division. At the minimum, you got to win 10 games to go to the playoffs. Let's see if they still have their TVs off in January and they're not watching come then, It's not going to happen.
EF and Kenner. It really is EF.
All right, let's hit the phone lines. 504-260-1280 is the number. The real EF in Kenner, not some Ryan in Miami guy posing as EF. EF, thanks for calling the show. What you got?
How you doing, buddy?
What's going on?
How's everything? The funniest thing about the whole uproar over the quote-unquote disrespect to the flag is?
There's something funny about it?
The funniest thing about it is funny because people are saying that the kneeling is disrespecting the flag. If they ever bother to read the flag codes, when they lay the flag across the field, not supposed to do that. I served in the military. When you wear flags on your clothing, not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
That's disrespecting the flag.
That's true.
When people sell flags and use flags for commercial use, not supposed to do that either. That's just threw out the top of my head. That's legit disrespect to the flag. This country was founded on protest, and it was protesting of the Union Jack and everything that the Union Jack had to offer us. Am I lying?
No, that's true.
That's what happened. So I don't understand all of this canned outrage that people are having because it makes me think that they didn't read their history book, and I see why we're 50th in education. But aside from that, I'm proud that the Saints.
I don't think it's just Louisiana, my friend.
Huh?
I don't think it's just Louisiana, my friend, who feels the way that.
It's not. It's a lot of idiots out there. But I'm proud that the defense showed up into week 2 and week 3 preseason form. Let's hope they keep it up.
They'll need to.
And I'm glad that Ted Ginn didn't drop a touchdown pass.
There you go. Hey, at least there's
There's a
some
lot of
positive.
positives from yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And I think the biggest question I had was why was Ken Crawley inactive for the first 2 weeks?
I think that's the
think
big
we all have
question
that
that
question.
everybody has, and I don't think that's going to be the case. Hey, EF, appreciate the phone call, and appreciate the
You got it, buddy.
the level-headed argument. And look, I appreciate all of our phone calls because we've had people on one side, on the other, in the
We didn't
middle.
know what to expect.
No.
Like you said earlier, we talked on the phone before we hit the studio, and I don't think either one of us knew what we were getting into today. And we appreciate it's been very civil, very level-headed, and
Smart conversation.
Well, that's the.
We try to keep that our logo behind us. Smart sports talk for serious fans. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Sometimes Jeff's an idiot. So
sometimes I'm an idiot.
Well, I'll say more than sometimes.
Yeah, well,
for
I
you,
know.
exactly. Yeah.
More so towards the end of the week when I'm cuckoo.
There's no doubt. I'm sure by Thursday you'll be
cuckoo.
You'll be country fried Friday. Your brain will be that on Friday. I guarantee you that.
No question.
Yeah, especially when you got to make college picks and NFL picks.
As long as the air conditioner in my house is working by tomorrow, we're good.
Well, somebody get on that for you.
They're
JD.
working on it, supposedly.
There you go. Let's take one more break, and when we come back, we will hear a couple more sound bites. We'll hear from Sean Payton on Kenny Vaccaro responding. Created one interception, picked off another on his own. Good game by Kenny Vaccaro, and then we'll hear from Drew Brees on getting some victory medicine as they head over to London. So come on back. One more segment here, Sports 1280, NOLA.com, and the iHeartRadio app with Dunc and Holder.
Jordy Holtzberg.
Defense non-existent.
All right, hey, Angie Burlier is gonna jump in for me now, Larry, so I can start getting packed up to go over to the Pelicans.
Okay.
And,
Later, Dave.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll see you over there, Larry.
Yeah.
Sean
See you then.
Payton's gonna have to figure it out.
New Orleans.
Tonight, the wait is over. America's favorite singing competition, Emmy winner The Voice, is back. With superstar coaches Adam, Blake, and Miley.
Last segment.
Plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winning vocal powerhouse, Jennifer Hudson.
All I gotta say is glory.
Oh man, we got no chance.
The Voice blind auditions begin tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC.
Each morning before you wake, you dream of breakfast like mom used to make. Eggs, bacon, potatoes too. Can't wait to eat all this amazing food. Then the alarm bell rings and no one's cooking you
Nothing like trying to sleep with a 1.5-year-old kicking you in the head.
Our 2-year-old still jumps in.
Yeah.
Introducing the new Bacon Egg Taco. Crispy bacon, seasoned potatoes, and melty cheese wrapped in a fried egg shell. Only at Taco Bell. At participating stores for a limited time during breakfast hours.
Hey, New Orleans. This is Mayor Mitch Landrieu. 12 years ago, New Orleans was brought to her knees by the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. We all remember it. Our thoughts and our prayers are with those in Texas and southwest Louisiana affected by Hurricane Harvey. That's why I reactivated the NOLA Pay It Forward Fund in partnership with the Greater New Orleans.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey,
churches and volunteer
we have
organizations
3
show the
sound
best of
bites
New
we
Orleans.
want to
That's
play.
why I'm asking
I think
all
should be queued up.
Yeah, Dave was just showing me the two
breezes and that.
And the one paid. Yeah.
.org, NOLA
Cool.
Pay It
All right.
Forward.
Tonight, the wait is over. 4-time Emmy winner for Outstanding Competition Series, The Voice, is back. With superstar coaches Adam, Blake, and Miley.
Yo, it's on.
Plus new coach, Grammy and Academy Award winner, Jennifer Hudson.
All I gotta say is glory.
Oh man, we got no chance.
America's favorite singing competition, The Voice, returns tonight, followed by the premiere of The Brave on NBC.
Right now, there's a girl in India who has dreams bigger than her village. Right now, there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at unbound.org.
Dunc and Holder now. Josh Innes next at noon on Sports 1280, New Orleans.
One more segment here. Dunc and Holder. Jim Derry filling in for the Dunkster as he's en route to London.
Reminds me of my days at skate country. No parking, baby. No parking on the dance floor.
I didn't really go to skate country.
What did you do? You just hung out in front of the house and threw rocks?
Yes, I hung out in front of the house and just threw rocks. I just didn't go to skate country. Like, played sports, swam, did some stuff, rode bikes.
Yeah.
I didn't sit in front of my,
There was no skating going on at Rummel?
No, skate country. Look, I didn't go there. Skate country. Look, they had one on Airline Highway.
I know,
but I didn't make it over there too much. So, anyway.
All right, let's go back to football.
Jim trying to derail the show
again.
I know.
Won't be the last time this.
No, it won't. I'm surprised you have not derailed it as much as.
Today was a little bit too serious. I made it do stupid stuff.
Exactly. Let's hear from Drew Brees. Played well. Didn't have to throw for 5,000 yards. Threw for 220 yards, but 3 touchdowns, no picks. He has not had an interception the entire season.
What? You just jinxed him.
Hey, I jinx a lot of things. But let's hear from Drew Brees about the Saints getting the win.
Felt great to get a win. Felt great to break the seal. I feel like we as a team have been making steps in the right direction, and it's just little things. I think we all felt like we were a lot closer than maybe it seemed or felt. Just when you come away with 2 losses, like that to start the season, when there was such this sense of urgency to get things started fast. It'd be easy to get disappointed and maybe down, but just got back to basics this week in some ways. Knew that we just. If we could just take care of some of these things that are really little things, but yet they can make a big difference. Staying on the field on 3rd down, we did a good job of that all game long offensively. Scored touchdowns in the red zone. Those have been 2 points of emphasis, obviously, after the first 2 weeks. Defense did a great job today. After that first 2 drives, just settling in and getting us 3 turnovers, I mean, that's huge. You get 3 short fields like that. We felt like we played the game on their side of the field for the most part, which had a huge thing to do with the victory.
And, of course, we heard from Antiteo saying he didn't want to call it a must-win, but they know they needed to win. Michael Thomas
said he wasn't getting on the flight. He was
Michael
staying
Thomas
home.
said, look, it's over. If we can't, I'm not going on that flight 0-3. So they're not 0-3, they're 1-2. But let's hear from Drew Brees on the urgency to get a win.
Again, divisional game. We know the type of team this is. They're a contender, and that defense is obviously one of the best in the league. So we knew we had our work cut out for us. We knew we needed to be uber efficient today, which I felt like we were, and we were able to get the job done.
Talked a lot about the offense, but of course the defense, that they came out to play, and you assume the offense would get back to its rhythm at some point, but you had no assurances that the defense would be able to play well or even decent in a game. And 3 interceptions, the interception by Marcus Williams, we saw glimpses of that in OTAs and mini camps and training camp. You didn't see it consistently. I mean, you're not going to see one-handed picks consistently, but I think you see some of the good things that Marcus Williams can do and why the Saints are excited for him. And that play was huge. And, of course, the Kenny Vaccaro play, he started that play. And then the game sealer, the third pick where he just, Cam Newton he's rattled and making bad throws, and Kenny took advantage of it.
You could have taken all the Panthers and put them in Jets jerseys, and I wouldn't have thought that the Saints could have played as well as they did on defense yesterday. Of course, the Jets won.
Yes,
but
they beat the Dolphins.
Not only did they beat them, they basically shut them out until it was the last play of the game. But no, seriously, I mean, no one. I don't think anyone, even on Airline Drive, could have predicted how well that they were going to play as a team yesterday, and come out and play defense the way that they played. I mean, you could expect things on the offensive side of the ball, even though they've been inconsistent. I mean, it's not a shock to see the offense play the way they played yesterday. I mean, it's maybe the offensive line to hold up the way that they did, but the defense as a whole, I mean, I don't think they had a game like they played yesterday all of last year.
Yeah, probably not. I wouldn't say that. Now, defense, well, they kept some low-scoring outputs, but it wasn't like a dominating performance.
Just the way that they play. And you got to realize the last 2 times, I think it was the last 2 times that they played in Carolina, they've given up more than 40 points twice in a row. I believe that's the case, or at least 2 out of the last 3 times when I was looking it up from before. And they had a game in the Dome year before, either it was 2 years ago, I believe, when it was that back-and-forth shootout, and Brandon Browner should have been off the field.
But Brendan. Now you're bringing up the old doldrums.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring up. I thought I would never say his name again. But I mean, the point is that they, over the last 2 or 3 years, when they played Carolina, they've had a lot of high-scoring affairs, and they've had to count. It had to be Drew Brees being almost perfect to have any chance to beat this team, and that was, even though he was pretty darn good yesterday. They didn't have to. I mean, he only threw for 240 yards, I believe.
220.
220.
Right.
So yesterday was just a whole combination of just doing everything right.
Yes, absolutely. No turnovers, creating takeaways. Look, they scored on the first drive. They punched in a touchdown right after a takeaway. It was when you're doing the check marks of how to win a game, the Saints basically did all of them right.
I think it really, and when's the last time you felt that after the first quarter? I think this team's going to win today.
I think I felt that, especially the way the Saints offense came out in that first drive, and they
Of course, it was a weird day. A lot of teams that weren't. I mean, Pittsburgh
it was a
lost
weird
to Chicago.
NFL day. There's no doubt about that.
The Jets nearly shut out Miami, so Washington just obliterated Oakland last night. So it was a weird day yesterday as a whole. But hey, let's take the positive where we can get them.
And certainly a different tone when we were talking about Kenny Vaccaro a week ago when he got yanked from the game.
Yeah.
And I'm going and doing film study to see what he did wrong. Well, Kenny Vaccaro rebounded in a pretty significant way. Let's hear from Sean Payton, his thoughts on Kenny Vaccaro improving after the quote-unquote benching.
Well, listen, he first off, it wasn't an official benching. I know that that's perfect for ESPN. But he and Vaughn are playing, and look, it was fantastic. I thought we did a good job defensively against some of the different personnel groupings that we got. You know, they've got some different looks when you're facing Stewart and then McCaffrey, that both of them are in the game, so that I thought we settled into some of those personnel groupings and defensively made some plays.
Certainly made some plays. Look, Cam Newton, quarterback rating of 43.8. Yeah. You know the quarterback ratings of the quarterbacks the last 2 games, they're like in the 140s. Yeah. Sam Bradford and Tom Brady. So it's certainly an encouraging thing that we saw on Sunday.
Cam Newton looked like the Billy Joes yesterday.
He did not look comfortable at all. And I think you're right. I think it had to do with the pressure, 4 sacks on him, and they were coming from all over the map. Look, yeah. Cam Jordan.
Both ends and up the middle.
Okafor, Hendrickson, Kikaha. That's all from defensive linemen. I mean, yeah. you're not having to get a safety blitz or a linebacker to blitz. I mean, those are 4 defensive linemen, so you gotta give that unit some credit for sure.
They absolutely, I don't think could have played any better than they did yesterday. The question is, and we'll get to this later in the week, so I don't want to like put a cloud over anything, but can they continue? Can up front, because that's the key to this defense. I mean, there's no question, and we've said it for years now. The key to this defense is they have to be able to put pressure up front, and when they sit back, if I can tell you any game, the Saints aren't going to win any games where they have 0 sacks or 1 sack, I don't think.
Right.
And so they have to get the pressure up front and force the opposing quarterback into making throws he doesn't want to make. And you know, fortunately for the Saints, they have a quarterback coming up this week that they've had quite a bit of success against and have been able to pressure in the past, in Jay Cutler. And, you know, it's maybe been a little while since they've had to play him, but this is a good matchup for the Saints.
No doubt about it. So want to thank all you callers. Great job today. Civilized conversation on a touchy subject. If you missed any of it, sports1280.com, NOLA.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, and our YouTube feed. You could catch the replays of the show. And Jim, good job day 1 for filling in for the Dunc. And we
got 3 more to go.
We got 3 more to go.
North Shore Bureau, boys. See you in a little bit.
There we go. So Josh Ennis coming up next. So come on back here tomorrow. Sports1280NOLA.com and the iHeartRadio app. Jim Derry, I'm Larry Holder. Today, both of us were Duncan Holder. Thanks, Angie.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. Right. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood.
I don't want to stop this thing.
They playing that for our boss?